I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Nancy Boyle. She's with the Small Business Resource Network, and she's affiliated with the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center. They're located at UNF, and she has a great presentation for us today. So Nancy, with that, it's all yours.
Okay, great. Thank you. If you could give us the next slide. What I thought I'd do is share with you the various resources available to small business owners in our area. And I'm going to start sort of give you a path of funding so you understand the relationship. So sort of at the top level, we have the U.S. Small Business Administration. And everybody's pretty much familiar with SBA, especially as we've been going through COVID. Up until last year, pretty much SBA, all they did was guarantee loans. Their three basic loan programs are the 7A, 504, and then they have a microloan program. So the 7A is probably the most common program. It includes real estate and equipment, machinery, furniture, fixtures, working capital, which is key because not every loan includes working capital. Oh, I'm not done yet.
Yep.
Can you go back? Sorry.
Yep, that's okay.
The 504 program is for real estate. It does not include working capital. Microloans are for loans up to $50,000. So if anybody's interested in any of those programs, they can contact the SBA district office, their website, or give them a call. Most people have heard of the PPP, the EIDL, and the SVOG. We live in a world of alphabet soup in government. PPP is the Payroll Protection Program, which is pretty much open to any small business. At this point, they've extended the application deadline to May 31st. So if you need payroll assistance for your business, this is a forgivable grant as long as you meet the criteria. You must spend at least 60% of the funds on payroll, and the other 40% can be spent on rent and utilities, things of that nature. The EIDL, EIDL is Economic Injury Disaster Loan. That is a loan. It's at 3.75% interest with 30-year payment rate. And that's kind of, they have an algorithm. So when you go online to apply, it'll figure out how much money you're eligible for. They have just reopened the advance portion of that, which is a grant of up to $10,000. So if somebody applied for the advance last year, and maybe they only received $2,000, they can reapply again for that additional $8,000, assuming they qualify. And that is a grant. It doesn't have to be paid back. The major portion of the EIDL program is a loan that has to be paid back. SVOG is the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. Again, it's a grant for businesses like movie theaters, the zoo, the amphitheater, and that's a pretty comprehensive process. So I would encourage go to the SBA's website and really look at that. Another area that, and this may be applicable to a lot of your members, Chris, especially if they're in construction related, but SBA has programs to work with small businesses. They have federal contracts, and it's sort of they set aside certain percentage of those contracts for women-owned, service-disabled, veteran-owned, disadvantaged-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses. They have their 8A program, which is it's almost like a mentoring program over a period of time, teaching people how to work with the government, apply for contracts, etc. So again, you have contact information. So subcontractors under the Small Business Administration, if you want to go to the next slide. The Florida Small Business Development Center at UNF, that's where I'm housed. I also do part-time consulting with the SBDC. So we do consulting at no charge. Under normal situations, we would provide training classes at a low cost, but since we don't have to pay for a venue, we're doing all of our webinars at no charge. So how to start a business. We also have a program for nonprofits, how to start up a nonprofit organization. We have all kinds of topics, financing and marketing and social media. I know we've got one coming up at the end of the month on the 30th on cybersecurity. So you can go to the SBDC website and see the, excuse me, the offerings there. A couple of other areas that we really concentrate on are government contracting. We have a new person starting the 1st of May who will be handling that program, where we work with small business owners, teach them how to identify those entities to do business with, get them registered in the federal database system, teach them about how to do estimates and follow up and things of that nature. We have an export marketing program where we have one of our consultants here who specializes in exporting, can help develop a marketing plan for businesses. And then we have this other program called Semrush. And the name is really not indicative of what it is, but it's a website analysis program. And through this program, we can analyze a person's website. We can see if there are broken links. We can see if what pages get traction. We can help them with their SEO. I mean, it's a very in-depth program for website analysis. And again, you can find more information on our website. So next. The Small Business Resource Network program, which is the program that I run, is a program of the Florida SBDC. It's sort of that next level of service. Our role as SBDC consultants is to educate, inform, guide, direct, but we don't do the work for that client. So the SBRN is a network of accountants, business attorneys, commercial lenders, commercial insurance agents, business consultants, government and nonprofit organizations and corporations. And it's that next level of service. So somebody needs a loan, we refer them to one of our lenders. Somebody needs their taxes done, we refer them to our accountants. It's basically a free referral source. We give out that information very freely and encourage people to go to our website, search our directory. We have a new program that we're in the process of kicking off called Ask the Expert, where you can go to our website. There's a whole list of categories. So if you have a question, maybe somebody wants to start a business, they don't know what to do, they can click on the business startup section, they can ask their question, and an expert will respond to them within 24 hours. Next. SCORE is the Service Corps of Retired Executives. SCORE is also another subcontractor of the SBA, and they're very similar to the SBDC in that they also provide no-cost counseling. They do their training programs at low cost or at no cost. Most of the webinars over the last year for both organizations have been at no charge. And they do some very comprehensive workshops. And I would encourage people to check out their workshop list. They do things on creative financing. They've got a workshop on crowdsourcing, business planning, steps to starting a business. So it's a wide variety of topics that can help any business. They also mentor. They can set up a mentoring relationship where they mentor their clients on an ongoing basis. And again, you can contact them with a phone number here, or you also have their website where you especially check out their workshops or webinars, I guess I should say. Okay. Another subcontractor is the Jacksonville Women's Business Center, which is housed at the Jacksonville Chamber. And I think the biggest thing about the JWBC is their mentoring. And they have several programs. They've got, it's called the Entrepreneur Certificate Program. And they put you through a series of mentoring relationships, workshops. And it's a 4-part program, which includes customer development, financial matters, where they do a deep dive into the finance side of the business, marketing matters. And there's the 4th part to that is called venture leadership, which gets into, really being a CEO or a president of a company. They also have their Athena PowerLink program, which again is another in-depth mentoring type of program. And you can find more information on their website. Okay. Okay, Jack Small Biz Help. It's really kind of interesting to see if or how these various nonprofit and government entities work together. When I was traveling around the state, going to the other SBDC offices and talking to them about setting up a small business resource network program, and we talk about the agency part of things, it was just stunning to me to find that these organizations didn't really cooperate. They didn't collaborate. So in Northeast Florida, we are very lucky that we have such a high level of collaboration. And so the various nonprofit and government entities in our area came together, and this is sort of housed here at the Small Business Development Center. And Chris, if you could go to this website, it's jacksmallbizhelp.org.
Can you all see that?
Nope, it's still the slide.
Okay, I'm going to have to share my screen.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, and if you want to just scroll down just a little bit, you can search this website by organization if you know the organization's name, or by a business topic. Maybe somebody is looking for mentoring, or they're looking for help with a loan, or they're looking for some other kind of guidance. You can search by the topic. If you're not real sure, you can just click on that Get Help button, and it will ask you a couple of questions, and then it will give you back a list of the various organizations. And if you want to scroll up just a little bit, Chris, if you click on Resource Directory, and we're not going to go through this whole thing because I know we're short of time, but you'll find here each of the organizations' contact information and a description about what it is they do. So here you have the Black Business Investment Fund, non-traditional lender. You have the Beaver Street Enterprise Center, that is an incubator for small businesses. Career Source, I think most of us are familiar with Career Source, but they will help you with employees. City of Jacksonville, their Jacksonville Small and Emerging Business Program, which is, you know, the local contracting person. And Duval County Public Schools, again, you have, this is their economic opportunity area. So if you want to do business with Duval County Public Schools, and then we can go through, I'm not going to have you go through all of these, but you know, you can go down the list and at your own, on your own time, kind of research and see who's here. And you'll see there's like 6 pages of these organizations. And we need to certainly add in you guys to make sure you're listed here as well. So that's really kind of it. I know I went through this pretty quickly, so if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, let's see then. Let's go back to our slideshow. Where were we? At the very end. Yeah, we're gonna go into we'll go into questions and Q&A. So we have a small group. If anybody would like to ask a question or tell us your thoughts on today's presentation or anything that you heard today, we would love a discussion. We have about 8 minutes left for a discussion. I'm getting a question in the chat. Hang on, let me check. How does a nonprofit get listed?
I think it would depend on the nonprofit. You know, you need to be providing services to small businesses. So if you fit in that area, then I would say send me an email, and I'll do a little research. Maurice Haig here at the SBDC has been in charge of that program, but she's recently gotten a promotion, so I'm not sure if it's still under her purview. But I'll be happy to get you connected. But I think the key is you have to provide services to the small business community.
Okay, so it sounds like if you do, then you reach out to you, or was it Maurice?
Oh, I've got the chat open here. How does a nonprofit get listed? Mentoring women in launching food business. You would be a great one to talk to. So Chris, I've got my contact information in the chat there. Let's talk about it offline, because I really would like to find out more about what you're doing for the food business folks, because we get those calls all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, Chef Chris was actually just featured on the news last week, right?
Excellent.
Yeah, very good. So any other questions, feel free to either raise your hand or just unmute yourself, type in the chat box, whatever you want. We'll open it up for questions. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, while we're waiting on that, since Chris is in the food business, I just will give you guys a heads up that SBA is getting ready to launch. We don't know when, they say April, a new program called the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. And this is for small restaurants, no more than 19 locations. When they open it up, the first 21 days are geared to women, minority, veteran-owned restaurants. And it's a grant. And the way you figure out how much you're eligible for is you take your gross revenues from 2019, subtract your gross revenues from 2020, subtract any payroll protection money that you've gotten, and the balance is the amount of money that you're eligible for. So we're waiting on guidelines. SBA, you know, we've heard different things about what you're going to have to do to register and all that. So until they come out with written guidelines, we don't have any more information. But since we were talking food, I thought I'd share that.
Great. That's wonderful. I think that helps a couple people on the call today, actually.
Good.
So that's really, really good. So we have another question in the chat. Who's the best person to contact about the second PPP loan?
Okay, start with whoever you got your first PPP from. And I think the key is if you can show in any one quarter that you lost at least 25% in revenues, then you're probably going to be eligible. But start with your current lender that you got the first PPP round from. If that lender is no longer doing PPP funds, email me and I'll connect you up with some folks that are still doing it. But start with where you went the first time.
Great, thanks.
Very good.
Hey, Nancy, this is Mary Tapuni. I think thank you for putting all that so succinctly, because I think we have such a great abundance of resources, but I think that also makes it confusing for people. So how would a business kind of figure out which one of those is the best place for them to go?
I would say if they're getting ready to start, then SCORE and the SBDC. If they're and SCORE and the SBDC are pretty much the answer both times. The difference between the two, SCORE is an all volunteer organization, SBDC is all paid. I'm not sure if SCORE requires their folks to get certifications, whereas the SBDC, we all have to get certifications. You have to have at least one, and every year you've got to expand on that. So I would say check in both. You know, I mean, I don't want to be so biased that I say, oh no, only go to the SBDC, because that's where I am. But SCORE is a great one for doing consulting at no charge, as is the SBDC.
Okay, and if you're a more established business, the SBDC?
I think, you know, you could go either way. Certainly the Women's Business Center works with established businesses as well. So a lot of it's going to depend on what type of consulting that you need. If you need really good one-on-one mentoring, that's what the Women's Business Center is known for. And just because it says women's business, they won't turn the guys away. And SCORE is also known for mentoring. I'm not saying that SBDC doesn't, but it's in a little different type of a format.
Thank you.
Does that help, Mary?
Yes, thanks.
We have about 3 minutes left. I have a question, Nancy, while we wait for anybody else, about the program that you mentioned that helped with the an evaluation of a website.
Yeah, Semrush.
Yes. Can you maybe give me, is that for any, would that like help, for instance, the Green Chamber? If we were updating our, how would that help us with our website? Like, how do we use that?
It would do an analysis of your website, tell you what's working, what's not working, give you some suggestions, check links. You know, sometimes you've got a link buried in your website that you don't realize, or maybe you haven't checked it in a long time. And I probably, since you're recording this, I probably shouldn't say it, but we had a link to a resource in our website, and we discovered that what we were linking to didn't exist anymore, and somebody else had bought that address, and we linked to something that was not appropriate at all to be linked to. So it checks your links. It kind of gives you an assessment of what other websites that are out there that might be good connections to you that you're not linked to, or maybe something that you're linked to that maybe you don't want to be anymore, or, you know, I mean, it's pretty detailed analysis. So, and if you're interested in that, Chris, go to the SBDC website, click on Request for Counseling, and submit a request for counseling. And in the notes put, we're interested in getting our website analyzed. And, you know, then they'll send you a link to schedule an appointment.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. Let's see. Any other questions coming from the group? We have about 1 minute left. Time went very quickly. Lots of great information. I think this will be a very good resource on our YouTube channel for people. So it's great information. Nancy, before we do our Tuesday takeaway, how often do you think that these programs that you mentioned would change? Is that something on an annual basis? Maybe we should update this.
For most of the organizations, they don't really change that much. I would say the SBA loan programs that are in response to COVID, you know, you'll see more change there. I mean, this is unprecedented. Nobody ever, you know, 13 months ago would have thought that we would be in this situation and have these loan programs getting, you know, put up, you know, in no time at all without really doing a lot of beta testing, if you will, or think through. I can't even tell you how many times the PPP program changed when it was first coming out, you know, because people, they want to get it out. People need the money. So I would just say loan programs are probably the ones that would change. The other programs, the other organizations, they may come up with some programs that might be new to help, but for the most part, everybody's going to continue to do things, you know, in the same kind of categories of things that they do. Workshop topics might change, but they're still workshops.
Okay.